I was settling into my soft green armchair one quiet evening when it happened, the moment that shifted everything. My son-in-law stormed into the living room, grabbed the remote out of my hand, and snapped, "Go to your room, old woman. This space is mine tonight." Before we begin, just a small request: hit the like button to support our stories. And tell me in the comments where you're watching from and how you're doing. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss a new story. Your one like, one comment, and one subscribe truly encourages us and keeps us going. Back in the living room, Derek kicked off his shoes and parked himself on the couch, like a king returning to his throne. My daughter Lena slipped in behind him with bags from the store, shoulders heavy, eyes lowered, pretending she didn't hear a thing. I didn't say a word. Not when he blocked the TV. Not when he snorted at me. Not when he called the living room his. I simply stood, picked up my keys, and walked out of the house. The night air felt colder than usual, like it understood the sting more than Lena did. I took a cab to a hotel, checked into a clean, quiet room, and sat on the bed, wondering how long I had allowed myself to shrink inside my own home. The next morning, I made a decision, not emotional, not rushed. A decision carved from years of being ignored in my own house. I called someone I hadn't spoken to in a long time, Andrew Sterling, a property attorney I used to work alongside at the county office years ago. "Celeste, at this hour, what's going on?" he asked. "I'm done being treated like a guest in my own home," I told him. "I want to serve a legal notice to the 2 people living under my roof." He didn't laugh. He didn't question, because he knew me well enough to understand. When I reach my limit, it's final. By noon, he had prepared the documents. Termination of their stay, notice to vacate, a warning about back rent, and instructions for formal service. He assured me his junior associate would deliver them personally. As I hung up, I looked out the hotel window at the city below, indifferent and completely unaware that today was the last day I would ever be treated like furniture. And the real storm hadn't even begun yet. The next morning, sunlight slipped through the curtains of the hotel room. And for the first time in years, I woke up without tension in my shoulders. No shouting, no footsteps, no one claiming ownership of a house they never paid for. At exactly 9:30 a.m., my phone buzzed. "Lena." I let it ring. Twice, 3 times, then picked up. "Mama, there's a man at the door, some attorney's guy. Derek is yelling." "What is this? What's happening?" Her voice shook. Derek's voice boomed in the background like a broken engine. "Take the paper from him," I said calmly, "and ask your husband to lower his voice. The old woman is unavailable for shouting today." "But it says eviction. 30 days. Mama, have you lost your mind?" "No," I replied. "I finally found it." I ended the call before she could explode again. A quiet satisfaction spread through me, not revenge, but relief. For years, I tiptoed inside my own home. Now, for the first time, they were forced to deal with silence. By late morning, I sat in the attorney's lobby, sipping bland coffee from the machine. The ticking wall clock felt like background music to a new chapter of my life. The phone buzzed again. Lena. Then Derek. Then both, alternating like a duet of panic. Every message had the same desperate rhythm. "Come home. We need to talk. Undo this. This is humiliating." Humiliation? That's what I had lived in for 4 years. I ignored them. Instead, I focused on the next step. Cutting off the financial taps. A simple call to the service provider suspended the internet. Cable, landline, every service in my name. A second call froze the supplementary card Lena used for groceries. All legitimate, all within my rights. 2 hours later, I received a bank alert. Transaction declined, $85, premium butcher shop. I allowed myself a quiet smile. Derek must have been standing at the counter, holding the meat he believed I would pay for. Moments later, his message arrived. "Your card isn't working. Fix it. I wrote back. It's not broken. It's intentional. Then I switched my phone to silent. That afternoon, I bought a new outfit, neutral. Clean lines, nothing grandmotherly. A uniform for the version of me that finally refused to be trampled. As I walked through the mall, people moved past me, unaware that I had just taken back something priceless. My spine, my voice, my home. Tomorrow, we would face each other again. In a lawyer's office, not my living room. The conference room felt colder than the hotel lobby, polished table, tall windows, and a silence sharp enough to cut through nerves. I chose the seat at the head of the table. If I was reclaiming my home, I would reclaim my posture too. Andrew sat beside me, calm and organized. A folder containing the deed, notice, and supporting documents sat neatly in front of me like armor. The door opened. Derek barreled in first, breath loud, shirt wrinkled, tie half undone. Lena followed, smaller than usual, clutching her purse as if it were holding her upright. We've lived there for years, Derek snapped as he dropped into a chair. We have rights. You can't just toss us out. You're right, I replied gently. You do have rights. And your rights are written clearly in the paper you received. 30 days to move. He scoffed. That law doesn't apply to us. It's basically our house too. I leaned forward. Derek, I worked in the county recorder's office for 3 decades. I know property law better than you know the channels on my television. Andrew slid the file toward him. The owner is present. You are tenants without a lease. The eviction notice is valid. Derek's leg bounced nervously. His arrogance was thinning. You cut the internet, he shot back. That's emotional abuse. Andrew didn't even blink. That is a non-essential service. If you need it, you're free to pay for it yourself. Lena's eyes flicked between us. She looked exhausted, scared, overwhelmed. But then I noticed something new. A hint of realization. I placed another folder on the table and slid it to her. These, I said softly, are the loan notices, the failed investments, and the account statements. The money you thought you were saving is gone. Her hands trembled as she read. 1 page, then another, then the last. Finally, she whispered, there's nothing left. No, I said. There hasn't been for a long time. Derek jumped in. It was investments. It takes time. I needed support. You needed access, I corrected. To my money, my home, my silence. He swallowed hard. For once, he had no snappy comeback. I looked at Lena. This is your crossroads. You can keep standing behind someone who lies, or you can step forward into your own life. Lena didn't speak. She didn't cry. She just lowered her head, really thinking for the first time in years. The meeting ended with no shouting, no chaos, just signatures acknowledging reality. But the real turning point didn't happen in that room. It happened an hour later. An hour after the tense meeting. As I walked toward the hotel elevator, my phone rang again. This time, I answered. Mama. Lena's voice was tired, but clearer than before. I didn't get in his car. He's downstairs yelling, slamming the steering wheel. I walked away. I closed my eyes for a moment. Not in sadness, but in relief. You did the hardest part, I said. Walking away from noise takes strength. There was silence on the line, followed by a shaky breath. He says you ruined our family. Families aren't ruined by boundaries, I replied. They're ruined by disrespect. I heard her swallow. I've been blind, haven't I? No, just quiet for too long. When the call ended, I slipped my phone into my purse, stepped outside the hotel, and felt the sun on my face. It didn't feel warm, it felt honest. Day 30 arrived quietly. I wasn't at home when the moving truck pulled up. Roman called. They've signed. They've packed. They're gone. No fight. No drama. Just an ending. Later that afternoon, I returned to my house. The living room, once filled with Derek's noise, was empty, echoing with possibility. Old marks on the floor, holes where the TV mount used to hang, dust in the corners. None of it bothered me. I opened the windows wide. Fresh air swept through like a cleansing wave. Then I cleaned every shelf, every corner, every inch of the floor. By evening, the house smelled of peach-scented cleaner and warm air. The kind of smell that says, "You're home now." A soft knock interrupted the quiet. Lena stood at the door, nervous but steady. "Can I come in?" she asked. "Not to stay just as a guest." "That's exactly how it should be," I told her. She walked in slowly, taking in the peach-colored walls, the tidy shelves, the neatness of a life finally mine. "I rented a small apartment," she said. "It's nothing fancy, but it's mine. And I filed for divorce today." I nodded proudly. "That's not a failure. That's a beginning." She looked around again. "Mama, thank you. If you hadn't said no, I would have never found my voice." We sat together, tea steaming between us. Not mother and dependent, not landlady and uninvited tenants. Just two women, finally adults in their own lives. As she left, she paused at the doorway and whispered, "I didn't realize how loud the world was until I finally heard myself." I smiled. That's what happens when you stop living on mute. That night, I sat in my green armchair, lifted the remote, and turned the TV to the exact volume I liked. Not louder, not quieter, just mine. If this story touched your heart, tell me in the comments, what city are you watching from? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this story so more people remember. No matter how old you are, it's never too late to stand up for yourself.